Okay. So now we start with what the germ cells are. So germ cells, they migrate from the endoderm of the yolk sac in the region of the hindgut by amoeboid activity or chemotactic mechanism. They reach the gonadal ridge by passing through the dorsal mesentery. Here, the oogonia are surrounded by clumps of epithelial cells. The germ cells undergo mitotic division by 20 weeks of gestation. Mitotic division, and by 20 weeks of gestation, they reach a total maximum of 7 million. Okay. So, and some enter into prophase of the first meiotic division, which is known as primary oocytes. They are then surrounded by flat stromal cells, and then that thing is known as a primordial follicle. So the primary oocyte is surrounded by flat stromal cells that is then known as a primordial follicle. A few primordial follicles are arrested in the diplotin phase and the rest become atretic. So oocytes at 20 weeks of gestation, it was maximum, that is 6 to 7 million. Then at birth, it falls down to 2 million, and at puberty, 4 lakhs. And nearly only 400 of the oocytes will ovulate during the entire reproductive period of a woman. Okay, so only 400 ovulate. So even though it is that much, only 400 are useful. So now then is the stage of maturation. So now these oocytes start maturing. Okay, so there is a reduction of the number of chromosomes to half. The primary oocyte remains in the diplotin phase until shortly before ovulation. The mid-cycle LH surge initiates the resumption of meiosis 1, and the primary oocyte undergoes the first meiotic division, giving rise. So, mind you, the first meiotic division had started when the baby, when it was in utero. Okay, so here I told you, what did I tell you is the germ cells are undergoing mitotic division. Okay, and they enter into the prophase of first meiotic division, that is in utero. Okay, it has entered into the first meiotic division, into the prophase of the first meiotic division. Okay, so meiosis is not completed. Okay, in utero, it is arrested. Okay, so what is happening is the primary oocyte remains in the diplotin phase. So from intrauterine life until just at puberty, okay, or just before ovulation, it is in the same phase. Okay, it is in the diplotin phase of meiosis 1. Okay, the primary oocyte. So, and this is completed just before ovulation. So what is causing the completion of the first meiosis is the mid-cycle LH surge. So the mid-cycle LH surge initiates the resumption or the completion of meiosis 1. Okay, so I will be telling you about the cycle. Okay, it is hormonal cycle, right? So hormones are released, that's why the cycles are happening. So when there is a mid-cycle LH surge, then the meiosis 1, which was started in utero, is completed. Okay, so the primary oocyte undergoes first meiotic division, giving rise to a secondary oocyte and one polar body. This is prior to ovulation, just prior to ovulation. The formation of secondary oocyte undergoes the formation of secondary oocyte occurs with full maturation of graphene follicle just prior to ovulation. Okay, so primary oocyte starts meiosis 1 in utero. It is arrested in the diplotin phase of meiosis 1, and that is completed just prior to ovulation. Just prior to ovulation, the primary oocyte becomes a secondary oocyte, and then only it will ovulate. So the secondary oocyte is ovulate, it's shed off. Okay. So the secondary oocyte begins the second meiotic division, but again this stops at metaphase. Okay. Now, the second meiotic division is completed only after fertilization of a sperm in the fallopian tube. So, is this clear to all of you, or you want me to repeat this again? Is it clear, people? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, somebody can summarize this for me. One of you, who can summarize this for me now? What did I say? Okay, Gargi, can you tell me what did I say right now?
First of all, what's menstruation, and then about the
Mhm, yeah.
multiplication. What happens is in the 20, it reaches about 7 million, and then
Yeah.
there is maturation cycle in which you said that there is a mid-cycle Alex search where there occurs the
Mhm.
meiosis one, and
No,
then
no, 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 no. Meiosis 1 starts when?
initiates the resumption of meiosis one.
It causes the resumption or it causes the completion. So it
Resumption of meiosis one. Yes,
meiosis
ma'am.
1 was arrested. Okay, see, meiosis 1 starts in utero when the baby, when the female child
Is in the
is.
intrauterine. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so it is in the intrauterine life of the female child. Okay, so it has started, meiosis 1 has started then. Okay, so meiosis 1, that is a primary oocyte. What did I tell you? I told you about primordial follicles also. So the primary oocyte is covered by a few stromal cells, flat cells, that forms the primordial follicle, right? So now that primary follicle will enter meiosis 1. So there's meiotic division. But this meiosis 1 is not completed in utero. It is completed when only just prior to ovulation. That means the lady has attained her puberty and then she's going to ovulate now, only then that is completed. Okay. So what stage is it arrested in? Krishna? Krishna? Krishna Kumar?
Diplotin stage.
Diplotin stage of what? Tell me the full thing. Diplotin stage of
Um,
meiosis 1.
yes, ma'am. Meiosis one.
Okay. So diplotin phase of meiosis 1, it is arrested. So that is completed only just prior to ovulation. Then what happens, Krishna?
Primary oocyte undergoes first meiotic division, and then secondary oocyte and polar body develops.
Yes. Okay. Then what happens after that? One secondary
Forma-
oocyte.
Formation of secondary oocyte with full maturation and Graafian follicles prior to ovulation. Then secondary oocyte begins to second meiotic division. Then
Yes.
it
Okay.
stops at metaphase. Then second meiotic division completed after the fertilization in a sperm by a sperm in fallopian tube.
Yes. Okay. So what happens is that fertilization has happened. That means the sperm has entered into the oocyte, but it has not fertilized yet. So that's when the second meiotic division is completed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now what is menstruation now? So menstruation is, by definition, it is shedding of the endometrium, which is associated with bleeding that occurs at monthly intervals from menarche to menopause. So occurs 400 to 500 times in a woman's lifetime. Okay. So that is
Yes,
menstruation.
ma'am.
All right. So there is shedding of the menstrual blood, shedding of the blood through the vagina. Okay. So it is shedding of the endometrium with bleeding that occurs at monthly intervals from menarche to menopause, occurs 400 to 500 times in a woman's lifetime. So for menstruation to occur, you need two things. Okay, so the hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis must be actively coordinated, and endometrium must be responsive to ovarian hormones. So that means the hypothalamus should secrete its hormones, and also the endometrium should be responsive to those hormones. Okay, in sometimes the endometrium cannot respond to those hormones. So even the hypothalamus should secrete the hormones, and together with that, the endometrium should be able to respond to those hormones. Okay, and the outflow tract must be patent. That means there should be no the vagina should be open, the cervical opening should be open. Okay, so there should be no this thing hindrances to the outflow tract also. So you will come to know what these are later when you start your clinics proper. Okay, so outflow tract must be patent. That is, there is no vaginal stenosis. Okay, no vaginal septum, all that. Okay, so it has to be open. No imperforate hymen. Okay, so these are where the outflow tract is obstructed. Okay, so this is what I will be talking this in detail. So here you can see there is a primary follicle, secondary, and then the vesicular. So this is how the follicle is developing, okay, according to the phase. So here I'll be talking about this, okay. There's this menstrual phase, then you have the regeneration phase, okay. There's proliferation, and then the second half of the cycle is the secretory phase, okay. So there are two cycles going hand in hand. Okay, so what is menstruation? In menstruation, what happens? The superficial functional layer of the endometrium is shed and regeneration starts from the intact basalis. Okay, so I told you about the arterial supply of the this thing uterus when I told you that the spiral arteries are shed off. Okay, yes or no? You remember? Do you people remember what I told you in your anatomy class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I told you there was what arteries were the end of the artery was the spiral artery. That was the last one which is supplying the endometrium. So that supplies the functional endometrium. Okay, so there is a functional endometrium and a basal endometrium. So endometrium. Okay, mind you, not myometrium. Endometrium is divided again into superficial functional and deep basal layer. Okay. So the superficial functional layer is shed and regeneration starts from the intact basalis. Okay. Menstrual discharge consists of mainly altered blood, mucus, vaginal epithelial cells, fragments of endometrium, prostaglandins, enzymes, and bacteria. Okay. So the menstrual cycle is the period extending from the beginning of a period to the beginning of the next one. Okay, from the beginning of a period to the beginning of the next one. So that is 21 to 35 days. The mean is 28 days. Bleeding usually occurs for 3 to 7 days and estimated blood loss is of 20 to 80 milliliters with an average loss of nearly 35 milliliters. So usually bleeding is for 7 days. If it is more, then it is abnormal and the blood loss is maximum is 80. On an average, it is 35. So if it is very heavy bleeding, it is abnormal. So menarche is the first menstruation. The average age is of 11 to 15 years with a mean age of 13 years. Menopause is permanent cessation of menstruation at the end of the reproductive life due to loss of the ovarian follicular activity. The average age is 45 to 50 years. So the ovarian cycle, now for menstruation to take place, there are the ovarian cycle and the uterine cycle. So these are going hand in hand. What is happening is the ovary secreting hormones. See, the hypothalamus is secreting hormones that is going to the ovary. So ovary is secreting the hormones, okay, and that those hormones are coming and acting on the uterus. So it is going on side by side. It is not that after the ovarian cycle then the uterine. No. When in the ovarian cycle there's the follicular phase. In the uterus the proliferative phase is going on. Okay, in the ovary when it is a luteal phase, in the uterus it is the secretory phase. Okay, so you have to understand this when you're given a question of physiology of menstruation, you have to mention both these cycles, the ovarian cycle and the uterine cycle. Okay, so the ovarian cycle has the follicular and the luteal phase. The uterine cycle has the proliferative and the secretory phase. So what is happening in follicular phase? There's development of single dominant mature follicle for ovulation. Okay, so it lasts for around 10 to 14 days. Okay, and the luteal phase from ovulation to onset of menses, it is constant at 14 days. So the second half of the cycle, that is the luteal phase, is constant of 14 days. So it lasts for 14 days. Now in the uterus, you have the proliferative phase. So what is happening in proliferative phase? There is progressive mitotic growth of the decidua functionalis. What has happened at the end of menstruation? This had been shed off, okay, the functional layer. Now that has to start regeneration, right? So there is mitotic growth of decidua functionalis in preparation for implantation of the embryo. So what the uterus is thinking is it is going to receive a baby. So it is preparing itself for that, okay? So it is getting prepared, okay? Now, secretory phase, there are cellular effects of progesterone in addition to estrogen. So, effects of secretory phase takes place on an endometrium that is primed with estrogen. So, if in the first half of the cycle, estrogen is not, the uterus is not responsive to estrogen, okay, that is in the proliferative phase where the estrogen is acting. So, in the proliferative phase, if the uterus is not responding to estrogen, the secretory phase will not happen, and there will not be any menstruation, okay, or there could be abnormal menstruation. Understood? So I told you, for menstruation to occur, the HPO axis should be functioning properly. The endometrium should be responsive to those hormones. So here the endometrium is not responsive. When in the proliferative phase estrogen is not getting to do its work, then second half of the cycle progesterone cannot act on the endometrium. Okay, so the ovarian cycle in detail. So what happens? There is development and maturation of a follicle. There is ovulation and formation of corpus luteum and its degeneration. So this is the entire ovarian cycle. Okay. Am I going fast? Or is it okay? Can you people hear me?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't get to know if we get disconnected. So you have to talk a little, okay, in between. Respond to me when I'm talking to you. Sometimes you just get disconnected in between and then I'm just talking on my own. I don't know you people are listening or not. Okay, so the ovarian cycle, there is recruitment of a group of follicles, there is selection of dominant follicle, and there is maturation. Then you have ovulation and then corpus luteum formation, and then there is demise of the corpus luteum. So what is recruitment of follicles? A cohort of growing follicles undergo development and differentiation. It takes about 3 ovarian cycles. Okay, so about 3 ovarian cycles. Follicles which are less exposed to progesterone environment are likely to grow and develop. Initial recruitment and growth are not under the control of any hormone, and after a certain stage, the growth and differentiation of the primordial follicles are then under control of FSH. So you got this? What happens is initially a cohort or a group of follicles grow. Okay, so 3 cycles takes about 3 ovarian cycles. So if one certain area of those follicles are going to, from that certain area, it is going to ovulate, It has started maturation since three months back. So it is growing for 3 months from 3 months back, okay, retrospectively when you're thinking. So it takes about 3 ovarian cycles, okay. Follicles which are less exposed to progesterone environment grow and develop, okay. And then initial growth and recruitment is not under any hormone. So no hormone is acting in the initial 2 to 5 millimeters size. But after that, after 5 millimeters, then it is under the control of follicle stimulating hormone. So now the hypothalamic hormones are going to be, pituitary hormones are going to act on the follicles. Okay, so it is under the control of follicle stimulating hormone. The oocyte enlarges and is surrounded by an acellular barrier of glycoproteins, the zona pellucida. Okay, so it is covered by it is surrounded by the zona pellucida. All right. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So an acellular barrier of glycoprotein surrounds the oocyte. So the dominant, how this dominant follicle is selected. Okay, now so graphene follicles grow at the rate of 1 to 2 millimeters daily and attains a size of 20 millimeters or more at the time of ovulation. That is the biggest, that is a mature graphene follicle will be measuring 20 millimeters. Okay, follicular fluid is formed, which is an ultrafiltrate of blood within the theca interna. The spaces coalesce to form the antrum. So that is the dominant follicle, okay? So what is happening to the dominant follicle? As early as 5 to 7 days, one of the follicles will become dominant. And that will start will start maturation, okay? So it starts further maturation. Now, whose granulosa cells contain maximum receptors for follicle stimulating hormone becomes the dominant follicle. The rest become atretic by day 8. So that granulosa cell which has maximum receptors for FSH forms the dominant follicle. So that is the dominant follicle. It usually measures about 20 to 25 microns. Okay, and then the granulosa cells are radially arranged, forming the corona radiata. So the cells surrounding the oocyte is called the corona radiata. Then I told you the oocyte is surrounded by an outer layer called the zona pellucida, outer layer of, you see here, I'll show you. This is the follicular fluid. Okay, so that is the corona radiata. What is corona radiata? It is radially arranged granulosa cells which are surrounding the oocyte. So this is the oocyte, right? So radially arranged cells which are surrounding the oocyte. This is the corona radiata. This is the zona pellucida. That is acellular glycoprotein layer which is surrounding the oocyte. Okay, so this is the corona radiata. This pink thing is the zona pellucida. This is a cumulus oophorus. So this is what attaches, some cells are attaching the oocyte to the wall of the granulosas or to the wall of the follicle. Okay, so these cells are attaching the oocyte to the wall of the follicle. Okay, so the primordial follicle. Now, what happens? The zona pellucida is secreted by the oocyte itself. Okay, so it is a glycoprotein layer. The cytoplasm is called the vitellus, also called the vitellus. It contains nutritive yolks granules for the for the ovum. Okay, for the oocyte. Then the space between the this I told you, the perivitelline space That is the space between the vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida. Okay, so this space is the perivitelline space. Okay, so this space between the zona pellucida and the vitelline membrane. So what is the vitelline membrane is the cytoplasm is called the, or is also called the vitellus, and it contains, it is defined within by the vitelline membrane, limited by the vitelline membrane. Okay, so there is a space which is not visible over here. So there's a space of the between the cytoplasm of the oocyte and this zona pellucida, that small space. Okay, that is the vitelline space, and then the nucleolus is large, and then you have that antrum. Okay, so the antrum, the fluid, it has fluid, that is the antrum. Now you have flat cells, the granulosa cells. Okay, and the inner theca interna and theca externa. Okay, see, these are granulosa cells. Okay, then these form theca interna and theca externa. Okay, okay, so you can see that. So that perivitelline space is not very visible over here in this picture. Actually, there's a small space over there between the nucleus of the oocyte and the corona and this thing. Okay, here zona pellucida. The granulosa cells surround the ovum to form the cumulus oophoris, which anchors the ovum to the wall of the follicle. Okay, I told you this, cumulus oophoris, I showed it to you. At this stage, the FSH induces LH hormones on the granulosa cells of the dominant follicle. Okay, so now FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, is inducing LH receptors. That means now this follicle has to ovulation, so it is inducing LH hormones on the granulosa cells. Okay, the LH receptor induction is essential for mid-cycle LH surge to induce ovulation. Then this also causes luteinization of the granulosa cells to form corpus luteum and secretion of progesterone from the corpus luteum. Okay, so what happens when a dominant follicle is selected? That dominant follicle will now have FSH, will have follicle stimulating hormone inducing LH receptors on the granulosa cells of this dominant follicle. Okay, you got it? Only on the dominant follicle, FSH is inducing LH receptors. Other follicles are not happening. Okay, so there's just one, so many, a cohort of follicles was growing, but out of that, the one which has least progesteronic environment has grown to form the dominant follicle. And also, after a certain stage, when the dominant follicle becomes as big as 20 millimeters, then it induces, the FSH induces LH receptors on the granulosa cells, and this causes ovulation to occur in that Graafian follicle. Okay, on that dominant follicle. Is this clear or is it confusing? It's clear? Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here are the phases of follicle development. Okay, so now after ovulation, this is the corpus luteum left behind, and then mature corpus luteum. Then there's demise of the corpus luteum. Okay, now ovulation takes place. So ovulation is, when it happens is the dominant follicle reaches the surface of the ovary. Now the dominant, what is happening? All these follicle development region is happening in which part of the ovary?
Cortex.
Cortex. Good. So even in the cortex, sometimes maybe that dominant follicle is somewhere a little inside, okay, not totally on the outside. So if it is somewhere on the inside, it will come to reach on the surface of the ovary, because it's from here that it is. See here, that's how ovulation is taking place. It is coming out into the peritoneal cavity. Okay. So this is the ovary. Now the dominant follicle is reaching to the surface here. You can see it has come to the surface. Now the cumulus becomes detached and ovum with the corona radiata floats freely in the Leica folliculi, and then the oocyte completes the first meiotic division. Okay, so what happens? The cumulus oophoris is what? It was attaching the oocyte to the wall of the graphene follicle. Now, because that oocyte has to come out, so that cumulus is detached. It disintegrates, okay? And then the ovum's free, okay, in the Leica folliculi. I showed you that antrum where it will float freely now, okay? Then the oocyte completes its first meiotic division at that point, and then rupture of the graphene follicle occurs due to contraction of the micro muscle of the theca externa, the aperture through which the egg escapes. That is known as the stigma.